Hi, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. It's Sunday. What day is it? It's January 30th, the last day of January. I hope everybody is well. We will be doing live readings as always. All readings are for the purposes of entertainment only. I'm not a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, or a financial advisor. If you need one of those, please seek those. I am a spiritualist reverend, so this is a part of our religious belief system that you can pass along messages from spirit, from your guides, from those that crossed over. So I hope everybody's doing well. We didn't get too much snow here, maybe 7 inches. So I always laugh. I was actually talking to my mom. So I have a rabbi that lives across the street from me. He's a very nice man. And I moved in 2 weeks before I gave birth to my second child in this place. And we had snow like the morning I was supposed to, like I knew I was going to newsflash psychic. I always know when I was having my babies. So, but so I was like going to shovel out the bottom of the driveway because the snowplow had come by and, it just builds up there. And he was like, "What are you doing?" I mean, it's just in my nature to be like a workhorse anyway. So he, he ended up finishing it he came over with a snowblower, but to finish it. But yesterday he was like, "Why are you shoveling? Where's your husband? Why isn't he out here?" And I was like, "I like it. Newsflash, it's quiet. I put my headphones on, I listen to whatever I want, and nobody bothers me for an hour, like not one interruption. And there's usually nobody outside. So it's very cathartic, like listening to the sound of the shovel hit the pavement. And we do have a snowblower, but I just like shoveling snow. I'm a weirdo. There you go. I do not offer free readings, Mama B. And I will tell you why. Because when I first started doing these, I was doing them for free. And I am putting my energy out there and I am using my expertise. And people became very demanding and nasty and rude. And you missed me and you didn't. And I was offering a gift and it was just really nasty. So I started charging. And I give 30% away. And stay here with me because maybe you'll get a little nugget of information. I always believe the universe has a really beautiful way of passing along messages that you need to hear. And so I'll listen to other people read, and I won't necessarily get the reading myself, but I'll get crossover messages. So maybe it'll be helpful for you. Okay. Yeah. So it's a way of like, first of all, the other thing is like, I think a lot of people think that, when you're spiritual and you have a spiritual job that you're just supposed to give everything away for free. And it creates a really unhealthy balance and an unhealthy approach. It also creates a whole lot of belief systems that are pretty unfair. Just like an attorney goes to school and studies, like I have been studying and practicing to connecting with my intuition and connect with other people for years. I have all kinds of certifications, which are not the same as a law degree. I totally get that. But it's also with my wisdom from having been a nurse for several years. Like everything that I get is filtered through me. We're all different filters. That's why you'll get I have to show this example. I really like it. I always keep a little water bottle around. Oh, here it is. So like when you guys go to different readers and you're like, well, they said this, or they saw that, or they all saw this, but everybody's getting a different answer. So if you look at this, like say in my circles, we'll all sit, if you're in a circle, you're all sitting around same thing. So like if we're all sitting and say we all know we're getting psychically, there's a water bottle, right? There's a water bottle. Right. But they did. But you know what? Just stay here. You might get a little nugget. And if not, I really believe the universe will give you a message wherever you need to get it. If you can't afford it, somehow in a conversation or something you're over here, the universe has a very beautiful way of guiding you and connecting you when you need it. And I really do see that. So it's not always, but this is how I do it here. And I just, how do I choose? Like, well, you're the one free person or you're the one free person. It becomes not fair. So this is the system I have set up through having done this on YouTube for several years. Anyway, so why do different people get different messages? And because we're all filters, right? So we filter through our own experience. So we may all see that this is a bottle of water. We may all see there's a bit of green and a bit of white, but you guys might be seeing the big message right here. Whereas I might get little fine detail, intricate wording, blah, 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 everything's different. So, I don't know why I randomly thought I shared that with you, but I did. I'm And yes, I donated because everybody was supporting me here and willing to pay the fees last year and over the holidays. You guys know those several weeks from like Thanksgiving to after New Year's, I would donate 100% at that point. And but we were able to donate for over 6,000 meals, to provide for over 6,000 meals to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. So I am giving. I'm not asking too much. I totally understand that you might be strapped, but then you might get a message. Okay, so I've got, I'm sorry, KK, I did not. Thanks, Jennifer. Okay, so we have Charlie Girl is up first. And then Jennifer. And what's awesome is that you guys are willing to be here and support me and hang out. And I try and help you with my guidance and my information that I get intuitively for you from Spirit. So, you know, I don't know if there's much I can do about the choppiness. That sometimes it just does that. But thank you for letting me know. Can you still not hear me? Thank you, Jennifer. Successful in my next job. So they said yes, of course, but I also feel like it's a stepping stone. It doesn't feel like it's a I'm going to be here forever. It feels like it's just a small, like you're not going to be there too long. I would say less than a year, but not because you get fired or anything, but because it becomes a stepping stone to something else. So either you get a promotion fairly quickly, or and somebody else snaps you up for a little bit better pay. The other thing I want to remind you though is stop doubting yourself so much, because when you ask a question like that, it's sort of like you're doubting that you're qualified to be successful or that you're valuable. And the universe sort of wants us to be reminded to own our power. Hello, Julie. Are you new here? Welcome, welcome. I haven't recognized your name. So thank you for everybody who's new here. Welcome. If you're old here, thank you for always supporting me. Did you want any more clarification on that, or a little more in depth, since it was a pretty yes or no? And I feel like whenever you guys ask the yes or no and you pay the same amount as somebody who gets a mediumship reading, and we know the mediumship readings can take a bit more time. I think it's very common. I will say this, that I've noticed just from talking to other women my age, I'm 43, and that we all sort of end up having this like weird imposter syndrome until we're in our 40s. And I don't see that happening as much with men. I mean, maybe they're better at hiding it, but they seem to be. But it's also, I think, the way our society is built, that we have to like justify with like 18,000 degrees, and then maybe we get a seat at the table. So they literally just said to me, you're overqualified. Like, you are overqualified. So don't doubt what you're doing at all. You will, but just know that it's a stepping stone job. So it's not like a permanent. So don't go with it like it has to be the perfect one, because it's like, it is just like an introductory thing. I don't know why they called it introductory, but okay. Jennifer, do you want to ask your question? You will be okay. Okay, wait, is LA is Louisiana or Los Angeles? I know that's dumb. It's not a dumb question, and I don't know why I feel compelled to ask that. Okay. Um, it's gonna sound weird, but I keep feeling neither. And I keep feeling somewhere in between where I don't know why. Um, it's weird because I keep getting pulled to PA, to Pennsylvania. Hi, Laura. Which is weird to me because I mean, I know PA is like an hour, a little over an hour drive for me if I were to go. I mean, Philly's like an hour and a half, I think. But you can hit other parts of PA in like an hour. But I keep like, and then I'm like, well, Jersey? And it's like, no, I keep getting pulled to PA. So I don't know if it's that you're looking for and do you lease or buy. I actually feel I'm leaning more towards a lease. And my sense is that whatever, like you might go looking in New York, but they don't have the car at their dealership. They find it in PA. That might be what it is. And I want to say this, if you're looking for a couple of months from now, start looking now. Um, I know my lease is up. I have to go get a new car, and I should have looked a lot earlier. We might have a little hard time, but I'm going to manifest that it's not a hard time. But it just feels like so I feel like you'll be looking on the East Coast, not on the West Coast. And I feel like maybe what happens is the cars, like they can't find one except for in PA. And that happens times too, where they're like, well, I don't have it at this dealership, but we'll call around and see what we can find. So for what it's worth, that's what I get. But I keep feeling like, look now. So if you say like it's like, I feel like you need an 8-week window. Devery, are you here? Please like and subscribe, share me with your friends. I do private readings. I'm on TikTok. I'm probably most active on TikTok after this channel. And then I have sometimes on Instagram. I don't know how people post on so many different platforms and take care of children. I know they probably hire people. Uh, and eventually maybe I will do that. I don't know. I do parties and I do Zoom parties. I'll do them over Zoom. I'm doing so the way I've done it in the past is where they put me in a room. I'm on a computer. And then I do mini reads. So like people just kind of filter in and out. And so they get their own little private session of like 20-minute reading. I do it that way if you want to do it online. So at a distance. And I really enjoy it. And I think, the women enjoy too. I always ask that you not drink too much before getting a reading because then it's sort of hard for me to like wade through your alcohol, that feeling, since y'all know that I like am clairsentient. And so then it's like I have to wade through the like nausea and dizzy feeling of the alcohol. And then, but I can do them in person too. We were kind of waiting through Omicron. I'm doing like an in-person event here, and I'll probably still be wearing a mask because, fuck it, man, I can't stand being sick. So that's just me. But I can do like, so we're talking about, I haven't seen Starry Sky in here a while. I know she was sick, so hopefully she's okay, but her wife are okay. But we were talking about doing like a big like gallery style. So we'll figure that out. But then Omicron hit and all of that. So we just kind of fly by the seat of our pants here. Okay, so Miss Devery, I have to get this money in order for moving, but my stubbornness is holding me back. This relates to the job search. Do I really have to settle for just anything to get where I would like to be? So this is my feeling with this. It's not settling, but I feel like you need to push past and get over this stubbornness, as you call it. I just so happened to start reading this book. It literally fell off the shelf. Like quite literally, when we talk about the universe giving us signs, can't miss that one. So hang on, I bought a hard copy, but I also rented it from the library through my Kindle. I'm not sure why. I'll probably keep the hard copy. So it's because I can't remember the name of it. Hang on. This one is You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. And I bought another one of her books too. But it literally, like, I was like, oh, I'm going to go look and see. I was looking for this book that the woman who facilitates my circle that I participate in, I'm not running it. It's a women's empowerment circle. And she held up another book. And I was like, oh, let me go see if I can find it. And I was walking past the books that were sort of like self-helpy, whatever, spiritually books. And I was like, oh, Badass at Making Money. Okay, let me look at that. Cause I'm always trying to figure out like blocks to things. And I know that's like money has a weird story in my growing up and like this, the messages we get that create belief systems. And so I was like looking at it, I picked one up and then literally it was sitting there. I was like looking at it. There was 10, everything was stable and it flew off the shelf at me. And then I heard my guides go, get it. Don't just stare at it and put it back. So I was like, okay. So I got that and then another book of hers. And I'm reading it and it's really it's a really great book. You can probably check it out online from the library if you have a library card in your town. And it's really handy in helping you find your blocks to what your beliefs are around money and all the different ways you're taught things. And so remember I was talking about the spiritual thing, in weird spiritual practice, or not weird spiritual practice, but when you're a spiritual worker and you have a spiritual business, there's also this weird, unhealthy expectation that you're supposed to give your services away for free, that you owe it to the universe, that you have this gift and you're supposed to be a martyr. And doctors have gifts that are great with science, and some of them have great bedside manner. And, artists get paid for their painting, and nobody sort of expects from pretty much any other profession that they're supposed to give away their services for free, except for if it's a spiritual thing. They're all gifts from God, regardless of what they are. So it's sort of there's that, then there's family stuff, systems that come up, but it might be a good book for you to read to help you kind of circle through and figure out where your blocks are at, because my sense is that there's this belief system that you're not deserving, money's hard to come by. There's also beliefs where we think about I remember hearing my father complain about some 16-year-old kid in the neighborhood having a nicer car than he drove. And it's sort of there's other things in my family. It's where I feel for me that if I'm doing well, there's jealousy or anger that gets thrown my way, just all kinds of interesting things that keep you and hold you back. So it might be helpful to read this. And she has got at the end of each chapter, it's answer this question. And it really helps you find your blocks and the little crevices, and gives you a different way of looking at money. Money isn't evil in and of itself, people can be, but money isn't evil. It's just an energy exchange. And, money can be used to manipulate people, but it's not the money that's manipulating people. It's other people that are manipulating people. here's the thing, is like, so I sort of think of financial freedom as being a stability thing. It doesn't mean that you're like, I don't think of it as meaning like you have to be the lottery winner who owns, like hundreds of millions of dollars and you don't have to worry about anything. I just think it means like to know that you will always have the money coming in and the resources coming in so that you can provide for yourself in a way that makes you happy. You like vacations, you want to have a home that's like whatever size, like whatever it is that you feel you need. Because some people want, the 10,000 square foot home. And some people are like, no, I'm good with like 2,000 square feet because it's super easy to clean. And I don't want to hire 18,000 people to come in and clean the house and like do the 57,000 windows that have to be cleaned and blah, blah, blah. And I feel you will be too. What I keep feeling is it's really just a mental block more than anything. Because I feel like you are really qualified. And I also feel like you're looking in these certain areas. And I feel like you're going to end up helping people too, Devery. Your spirit guide does not have little faith in you, my dear. Oh, now I'm curious what Brielle said. It's like what did she say that she got hidden? I heard I could read her and then you hit her. Did she say something nasty? So hang on, let me go back and reread this. Not Brielle or whoever this is. Laura's having issues with PayPal. Do you have Venmo? Do you want to Venmo me? Okay, I'm just going back up to your first thing. Money in order, moving, but my stubbornness is. Yeah. Okay. So I do feel like it's not about you're settling and then it just feels like it pushes you beyond that point of like, okay, I have this and I get this. So I know I can get the next one and the next one and the next one. It's like a stepping stone manifest. Some of us, it's really hard to get beyond our stuck belief systems without sort of stepping stone manifesting it versus doing like the big jump. Okay. And so let me read your question about your guides. So are you feeling like your guides don't believe that you're capable of communicating with them? So in this psychic development circle that I'm doing, okay. So in this development circle I'm doing, one of the women was like, we started with doing a general and she's like, I don't really see anything. So I'm just going to go with what I was feeling. So then we like pointed on the fact that like, well, that might be the area you're most comfortable in, your clairsentience to give to receive information. And so go with that instead of trying to do it some other way or the way other people do it. Sometimes when we're trying to connect with our guides, we get caught up in how we think it's supposed to be versus it being a really natural process that they're doing all the time. Right. I think the one like cool thing that somebody said is like what I realized is after going through my circles, just like you help us realize that it's such a natural process that it's not this hard thing, and it really is very natural. It's something I think that we all do, but we miss it. So I don't think it's that they're like, oh, she can't hear us, like whatever. I just think you're looking for it to come in differently than it does naturally, right? So when they are connecting and you're like, oh, that's common sense. And so you sort of like fluff that off. I need to turn this light down. It's really bright. They are helping. So here's the thing though. Sometimes when we ask for help and we're manifesting things, it looks like it's falling apart when it first starts happening. And you're like, oh my God, everything's going absolutely opposite of what I wanted it to. And it's like getting worse and worse and worse. And then it gets better. So, I mean, I always ask for stuff like in my personal life. So it's like sometimes I don't want to really share all that. But like, one of my daughters is struggling a little bit this year. And sort of like, I was like, manifesting for it to get easier and better for her because she's struggling. And it like started to get worse for a little bit. And I was like, oh my God. And then they were just reminding me this is a part of the bridge of incidents. And sometimes to get to where you want it to be, it looks like it's going up and going worse. Um, I think that's also like when you do your manifesting thing, if you're like, I release all blocks to receiving money. And then like it's like, oh my God, I started to like have all these other things kind of come up where it's like it feels really hard, but like when you start to release that stuff, that's what shadow work is, right? And so the stuff that's stuck, that's making stuff stick, pops up, and it's hard to look at. And it's you got to process all those feelings because you didn't for so long. So it may seem like it's a struggle right now, but they're sort of like clearing out the old stuff to help you push through. The fact that you're asking about this stuff, the fact that you're moving through it, the fact that you're willing to look at it and you're like, why isn't it happening? It's not because it's just you're not seeing it on the surface yet, right? It's the little seed that's kind of like they're showing me that it's just about to break through the surface and start to sprout. But remember, when a plant comes out from under the ground, it's just these little tiny little sprouts, right? They're just tiny little green nothings. So sometimes it's even hard to see it. And you're like, oh, it's not exactly what I wanted yet. It's not the full bloom plant, tree, whatever. It's just this little green thing. And you're like, it's never coming. And then they're like, oh, okay, that's what you want. It's never coming. I didn't used to talk to my guides the way I talk to them now. Like I didn't used to hear them as clearly and like laughing at not at me, but like kind of at like the silliness of sometimes my own stubbornness. Let me check my PayPal, Laura, and see if it showed up on my end for whatever reason and not on yours. So I know there's a lot of manifesting people that are like, don't go to psychics. They don't know what they're talking about. But if you go to the right one who's like, understands that you can manifest what you want and that I'm just seeing a shift on like I'm seeing one trajectory. I'm not seeing like this, it has to be this way thing. And all they're telling me is it's like it's your own belief systems. And it's not because you don't believe. I mean, it sort of is around not believing that you're worthy of and deserving of the money. And for you, it's like, I keep feeling it's a story you got through mom about things just being really hard. This is just the way life is. Life is always hard. Life is a struggle. You just do deal with the best that you get kind of thing. They're also talking to me about like when you look at money, if you look at it like you would a specific person, right? So how do you talk about the specific person? Of course, the specific person loves me. Of course, they want to be with me. Of course, they like are attracted to me. Of course, that I'm the chosen one. So like, of course, money loves me. We're like, money and I are like this. Like we get along. We have a great relationship. I'm super grateful for money because it affords me the things that I want to add to my happiness. Of course, money loves me because it's an exchange of energy and I'm worthy and deserving of it because I'm good at what I do. If you start kind of looking at that way instead of feeling like it's this intangible, like hard to get thing, and how do you, because it's just a thing, it's not, whereas like people have feelings, right? So you just pretend like personify it. You know what I mean? And then with your guides are like, you're getting messages, you're just sort of missing it. Like, so that's like, it's the repetitive things that come up. It's like the book that falls off the shelf that you're like, well, that probably happened because I knocked it, whatever. Like, you're finding all the reasons to dismiss it instead of just being like, thanks, universe. Thanks, guides. I appreciate it. I feel like they keep putting like the same job in front of you and you keep going like, no, 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 like it's not quite right. And they're like, take this job because it leads to something else. It's not the end all be all. Laura, are you still here? Laura Robideau? Did you figure out you can pay me on Venmo if you want? Oh, you had to reboot your phone. Okay. Let me know if you try the PayPal again and it doesn't work, then let me know and I'll give you my Venmo. I don't know if you have Venmo, I'm just assuming. Allie, are you here? Hi, Lily. Welcome. It's good to see you. You haven't been here in a while. We miss having you. Are you taking 3? So they're making me feel 3. And I feel like you'll only have 1 C. So I feel like it's an easier, like maybe not as busy semester for you. So it feels like easier. You got it. Okay, great. I got it too. Okay, so we'll add Laura to the list after. So we'll do Laura R for Laura Robideau after Laura H. Do you have 3 classes? I don't know. I just getting the number 3. So do you have 3 classes this semester? Or like 3 main classes in a lab, but it just feels like 3 lectures? Come in. You're not going to be on camera. Don't worry. I gave you all day. Okay. But, okay. Love you. Am I still cutting out? Hey, Jelly Bean. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so is it 3 in a lab? Like 3 lectures in a lab? 3 main. Oh, okay. 3 main ones to your major. Okay, so I feel like it'll be like 2 Bs and a C then, because I'm like, they're showing me 3. I don't know what that means. And it feels like it's an easier semester. It feels like not as hard. I don't feel as bogged down. It just feels like the way I feel is light and airy. Like it's a nice clear day is the way I feel. It's nice, like, so that's more symbolic. The way they're showing me is like a clear afternoon. So it's like smooth sailing. Everything runs clear. There's not like, I'm not any bumps or any things like that. You know, you really need to just decide that it is that way. Like, of course it's going to be easy. Of course I'm going to do great. Of course, of course, of course. And even when it seems like things aren't going well, it's like, it doesn't matter. This is just a part of the bridge of incidents. I literally, when I'm working on manifesting and something's not going well, I just go, whatever, I'm not even gonna worry about this because it's just, this is a part of the bridge of incidents. This is a part of getting to that end stage. And so I'm not worrying about it because it's fine. And it also sort of like shifts your energy from the worry and focusing on the worry. You'll be fine. They're telling me right now that you don't give yourself enough credit for seeing patterns, and it feels like the programming thing will be easier than you think because you're going to look at it and you're going to see patterns, and it's going to be like, oh. Listen, anxiety is that beautiful part of your ego, like your lower self, right? Your shadow side. And it was there for a really long time to protect you and keep you safe, but you don't need it anymore. You are safe. You are capable, you are powerful, you are an incredible being, and you do not need to worry so much. I'm telling you, there is something like, when people are like, oh, manifesting, like, I don't know if it really works. Listen, not if it didn't work, so many people would not talk about it. So many people would not teach about it. So many people would not write book after book after book, year after year after year. There wouldn't be studies from psychology called cognitive behavioral therapy, which is the idea of shifting your thought process to change your awareness and change your state and your mood. You can do this. So get up in the morning and the first thought you have, if you're like, oh, it's another day, and be like, it's a wonderful day for me to create the life that I want. I am so happy. I am grateful. I am powerful. I am strong. I easily get through this schooling. It's a breeze. Even if it doesn't make sense at first, it always clicks pretty quick after that. Like, just listen, you are lying to yourself with all that doubt, worry, and fear. Lie to yourself in positivity. Okay. What is your your dad's question about your truck? Um he's gonna fix it. I don't know much about, I mean, I know all the money I poured into this like lemon of mine in college. Where you guys have heard this, where the mechanic was like, please just buy a new car. Um, but I feel like it's the radiator I'm looking at, and it feels like this is so weird. And I don't know if this is like why they're showing me this, but there's a nest of some sort, either a little mouse or a little bird. There's a little nest or something that or would have been a nest, like in between the radiator and something else. Or in some parts of the country, they call it a radiator. But it feels like there's like a little something nudged in there. And I feel like with whatever they're fixing, they find one other little thing, but it's actually this really, really important thing that needs to be fixed. So it's like happenstance, like that it's a really good thing that he got it fixed. Like it's a like a not an expensive part to fix, but it's like an expensive fail if it fails. So what I feel about your dad is it's funny. It's like he works hard, yes, but it's like he doesn't know any different. It sort of was like he threw himself into that to sort of like not have to process some of his life. And it's like, it's so routine to him. Like he thinks about like, oh, it'd be so great if I like could just like have a real long vacation and like take off, but he would go insane if he did nothing. Like it's like so ingrained. I do feel he has some knee issues and a right shoulder issue. Aaron, are you here? Do you want to ask your questions? So I don't know. It just feels like, yeah, like there's one little thing that they find, like when going through the one fix that he needs or whatever, where it's like they wouldn't have found it, whatever, but they find it. You know. Thank you for the compliment. I just learned how to listen. Aaron, are you here? If Aaron's not here, Anna Maria, are you here? I'm assuming it's Anna because it's spelled like my Anna, A-N-A. So go forth in your semester and bravely just walk in and be like, I am, I can, I will. Or I can, I am, I will. Something like this. I don't know. I don't know the order. There's Anna Maria. Hi. When will you have two questions that were paid for you, by the way? Um, when will you meet your person? So this is what they're saying. They said not for at least another 6 months, and you won't know it's them. So it's not one of those like love at first sight. I almost feel like you're working together somehow, and the capacity is like, and it's not a romantic relationship at all. It's not. It's like you meet them, but you don't actually start dating for maybe they go 2 years, and I'm like 1 year, and they're like 2 years. I get to asking. So it's like 2 years of knowing each other, and then it sort of evolves. I know that's like not what you want to hear. But this idea that we get that like there's this urgency or there's this time thing or there's like we need to hurry it up. It's just not true. Oh, I'm so glad you're fair. What you're happy about that. um, I do feel like there's an age gap. I feel like they're going to be a bit older than you. So I actually feel like this person might be currently married. And so that would be why there's that time. And so, um, and then there's an age gap. So you might be running into a position of actually ending up being a stepmother and also having children of your own. But it doesn't feel weird. I just want to state that, like, it doesn't feel like overwhelming or anything that you can't handle. And I don't know if he's going through a divorce or if he ends up being a widow. And they're not showing it. And I think that that's important to know that you're not supposed to know either. I feel like you'll have I know this is like weird because it's like, well, why wouldn't you be like, for sure one? And it may be that, no, they're showing me one prominent and then one right behind it. So it may be that it's like, they call Irish twins, where they're like less than a year apart or like a year apart. They're really like, you get pregnant right away. So it's like not planned to happen that way, but it feels like right on top of each other if you do have more than one. Well, from one mother to a future mother, you'll be exhausted. I think as they get older, it'll be easier. But the first few years will be like, hold on. No, it doesn't have to be that way. I just, ask for help. Don't ever feel like you have to do it on your own. Ask for help. Okay. Aaron. You're very welcome. Thank you for trusting me with that. And it was nice meeting you. I literally just heard not on an app. So was that, hi, Rakdon. The response to that was like, not on an app. And it feels like when you've given up, like when you're just like I can't do this right now. I'm taking a break from it. And then you meet him. And I keep seeing a bar setting, but I don't feel like it's like I'm like super wasted out on girls' night. It feels like maybe some kind of like get together for a work thing, or like it feels like more like a happy hour, but not like crazy late happy hour, or something that's more daytime kind of going out and just having a couple drinks and then like chatting up this person, or they're chatting you up or something like that. And I don't know if it's a friend of a friend or somebody that happens to just be at the bar. So go out, start drinking. Just kidding. And I don't feel like it's really cold out. I feel like the weather would be more like late spring or early fall, because I don't see anybody wearing heavy jackets or anything. And I feel like the clothes are lighter weight, but not summer. And then the when. It feels like less than 12 months. But let me like offer a teensy bit of advice, if I may, even though you didn't ask. Every time you meet somebody, don't think, is this one, could he be the one? Just be like, have fun, try and enjoy their company, because it feels like you get caught up a little bit in the is it the one, and it sort of overwhelms you. And it's sort of like that sound effect you hear where it's like like I don't know. It just like stops you in your tracks, and it stops the energy from moving in a right way. So after Laura Robideau, I've got Rakdan and MV. I can't remember your screen name, but I know it's not that. I know it's not your name. And I don't know why I can't remember. Do I see you having kids? So this is weird because I keep hearing no, but then I keep wanting to say no. Is that the best way for me to say that? I want to say no, but then they keep pushing me to like, no, 42 or 43, like tell the story, tell the story. So the story is I have a couple people in my family. My grandmother was being one of them, is like her last child she had when she was 43 years old. There was gaps in between her three children, like big age gaps. And then cousin, other side of the family, didn't have her first child till she was 38. And I think she had her last at 43. So it feels like maybe one and like later and not actually expected. So maybe you're one of these women who's like, I thought I was in menopause. Turns out I'm having a baby. Oh, you are? Okay. Oh, that's it. That's why, Marlene. I was like, I know that you have a different, and so I didn't want to say your thing. Okay. All right, Marlene. Great. And Julie, I'll look for yours. Sometimes it just takes a moment for it to catch up. There, got it. Or is it Julia? It's Julia. My apologies. What's your, and that was your second question. Okay. So, but I would feel like one, but it feels like on a little bit of the later end and not necessarily planned. I don't know if anybody heard that, but it sounds like elephants are running around in my house. Okay, so Laura H. and then Laura Robideau. Thank you, KK, for keeping up with the list and everybody today. I appreciate you. You're very welcome, Aaron. Welcome, and thank you for trusting me with that. So now all of you people that I'm predicting, you got to come back and tell me about it if I'm right, especially if I'm right. I've been single for years and working on improving myself. In the meantime, do you see a committed relationship coming in? I mean, committed enough to have marriage and kids. So I heard 3 months, 3 years, and they're like, stop. And I was like, okay, when will she? And I heard 3 years. So that means you meet the person before them. It's not a, I think you probably, my sense is, I should say this, my sense is you meet, I want to say a year and a half from now. But the interesting thing is I don't feel like you have a really long engagement. It's not like we rush and we have a shotgun wedding or anything like that. It just feels like once you decide, you're sort of like at that age that you're both like, we don't want the big wedding. We just like, let's just go get married and like use the money for investing in our home and our life together. I don't feel like it feels like not wanting to deal with the hoopla of a wedding. Because weddings are often not really about the couple, they're really about the stuff. If I had to do it again, a judge, that's it. Call me unromantic. Sorry. You may end up having a surrogate, by the way. And it's not because like we try and try forever. It feels like already knowing. So I don't know if you already know if there's issues. I don't want to be like issues, You already know that like I have a close female friend who she knew fairly early on that she was going into early menopause. So it feels like knowing early on. Laura, are you here still? Laura Robideau? You're very welcome. What's your question, Laura Robideau? You're very welcome, Laura H. Thank you for trusting me. Oh, it's above. Okay, sorry, dear. I'll go look for it. Yes, Mama B, they are. Oh, here it is. My lease is up in November and my daughter's is up in June. Will we find a house with mother-in-law suite or continue to live separately? I do feel like live separately for I keep hearing 18 months to 2 years, but I feel it's like the 18 months and then, which is a weird like lease time, but it feels like living separately and not finding the right place for a little bit longer. Wait, so you hang on, let me look at the time frame again that you said. So that might be why it's like the 18 months, 2 years thing. So it might be, sorry, I just want to like look at it again because there's an energetic thing to it. between holding space and reading it. Daughters up in June. Oh, okay. That's probably what the split is. Why it's a weird time frame. Why it's 18 months instead of just like 12 months. So then I'm asking, does she sign an 18-month lease? And it feels like no, signing a 12-month lease and then able to extend it just 6 months. So that's what it feels like. It feels like you'll lease for that shorter period of time and then you move in together. It just feels like there's not the right place on the market. Or maybe it's that if it's 18 months from now, because I'm like, you're in November. So that gives you almost a full year. So it might be that she signs a full year lease and you extend yours 6 months, something like that. So in June, she signs a full year lease and then you extend yours a little bit. And that's when you find a place. Yeah. So I feel like they'll get pre-approved, no problem. But I do feel like, and I don't know if they have this, but to look at getting a high yield savings account. And I don't know why that would help them, but they mentioned HISA. And I'm not a financial advisor, but just to look into a high yield savings account for your daughters. I don't know why that's important, but that's what I heard. Rockdon, if you want to write your question, and Marlene, and then Julia, you guys are all three of you are up. So I can't wait to hear about your new home. What's interesting to me is I feel like I don't necessarily feel like it's a mother-in-law suite. I feel like there's a main house and then there's like an apartment or something out in the back. And it feels like, I don't know if it's above a storage area or a room, but it's or a garage, because it feels like they're showing me like an apartment above. And it's either like a light blue color or a gray color. Of course you can, KK. And it has white trim. Because I keep seeing like light blue or light gray and white trim. So I feel like this is weird. Because I'm like, is she really stable to get discharged? And it's like, but I feel like she's doesn't necessarily need to be at that facility. Are they discharging her to like they would call it a rehab unit here in the United States. So it's still skilled nursing care and physical therapy and stuff, but it's not acute care, right? So there's not sometimes in the rehab units, they'll have vent units, so ventilators. So it's like there is skilled nursing, but it's just not the same level of care that you get in a hospital. Because I almost feel like she doesn't need that high level of care, but she still needs nursing care. And it feels like it may be more of a community-based hospital. But I also feel like you'll get the money in the nick of time. Like they're like two totally separate. They're actually not interconnected or related. And I asked about the money and it feels like they cut the check already. It's just not going through. And I don't know what that means either. Does that make sense when I say that? Or does that resonate? I'm trying to learn to say, does that resonate with you rather than does that make sense? Do you understand? Because it seems like it's rather clear. So what I'm really asking is, does that resonate with you? I'm trying to ask the questions that I actually mean instead of dancing around it. Not major issues. Yeah. So it doesn't mean she doesn't have need for nursing care, right? So I worked in a pediatric nursing home. It's a skilled nursing home. We had kids on vents or ventilators, but it was routine maintenance kind of stuff. And some of the kids were, getting to the point where they could go home. Very few of them, but some of them, some of them were too much for a family to take care of. They didn't have the space or the room for nurses and things to come in. So then it's like getting the money and then getting her discharged. So it's like, it feels like one right in time and then able to discharge her. And then I feel like she moves to like a community-based facility where the fees aren't so high. Or where I don't know how your healthcare system is in India. So I don't know if they have like a socialized sort of medicine. And so she's in one that's maybe not in the socialized network, but that she goes into a facility that is community-based, it feels like to me. Like, they keep calling you for verification. Are you not answering? I feel like I have to say this. It's interesting because we get in our heads that like if something is labeled something, we know it's got to be better, whatever. But there's a lot of hype behind it, and there's really like um, quite so like here in I'll say this. There's this idea in this area, like I technically live in the suburbs of New York City, that hospitals in New York City and the doctors in New York City are so much better, but there's a lot of really good doctors and knowledgeable people in New Jersey. So it's this idea that like we get in our head because it's been pushed one way, like you've got, Columbia Medical and or Columbia Presbyterian and like all these like really big heavily research based, residency based medical whatever science, like whatever, doing all the studies in New York City. But there's like also Children's Hospital of Philadelphia is phenomenal. And it's like over that way. And there's also a lot of really good doctors who are trained at both of those places that work in New Jersey. So it's try not to get caught up in thinking that it's better because of this or whatever. It's like you're going to get good quality care for your mom in this other place. I get it. I also don't know how this works there. So this is what I know from American hospitals. If they have social workers, I don't even know if that's like something that they have there or if it's the equivalent of somebody who helps you set up care at home or services at home, how to get any formula she may need because I feel like she needs some sort of nutritional supplementation that she can't swallow yet. So it feels like she would need like like if she has a feeding tube, she would need fees for that. So it's like having them make sure that somebody gives you all the information of these things to make it easier for you. Okay. Marlene, if you want to ask your question, and Julia. I feel like they'll discharge her, okay? I understand. Unfortunately, the sad thing is, I mean, this is for sure here too. Like, well, the hospitals would discharge her and then they worry about the billing later. They don't hold patients until you pay a bill because then you're just racking up more money. I mean, they'll just come after you with collections. That's how they do it here. I believe you that it is that way. I'm just telling you how it is here. Like, they would actually get rid of you. They will. That's my sense. My sense is that the money comes through and then they discharge her. Like it feels like just in the nick of time is the feeling I get. So if the money, the banks, the lenders or whatever have been calling you, call them back. Do not apologize for your anxiety. It's funny, the thing I wanted to say was like keep soothing your anxiety and telling it like everything works out perfectly. Everything works out just in the nick of the time. It all will fall into place. It will be okay. Um, Marlene, I feel like you start looking in March, but it's interesting because I almost feel like the house that you end up getting is not something that actually officially goes onto the market. And I'll explain this. We know some people who they had their house, and this was before the 2020s. This was like, whatever. They put their house on the market for a while, like in the spring, and then it was on all through the summer, and then like they couldn't find a buyer. They couldn't find a buyer. Like nobody wanted to buy their house. It was super cute little Cape Cod style house, I think. And I mean, it wasn't even that little, but then like they never even put their house on the market again. Somebody like their realtor was like, "Hey, I have somebody who's looking for a house. Do you still want to sell it?" So it feels like you're looking with a realtor, you're looking, not finding something, and then somebody approaches her and she's like, "Hey, I've got this house that's not even on the market yet. You want to go look at it?" And that's like kind of ends up with what happens, where it doesn't become like a bidding war. They also say that I don't feel like it's going to take a dip. It's just not going to be the hungry, like scramble for houses the way it was in the last like 18 months, because the interest rates are going up. But I keep getting pulled towards March. So I don't know if that's when you start looking or you actually like that's what sort of I feel like that's when you start looking. Oh, okay, cool. Perfect. Then that's how it feels because I'm like, it feels like it's something that doesn't go to market and that you get like that's like so it may be that you actually then that it comes up in March, but I keep getting March. So I don't know if that's when you start looking or you I don't feel like you'll sign the full papers in March, but it feels like that's what happens. Um Wherever it ends up, they're pointing out the water heater. So it may need to be replaced or it was just replaced, but there's something about the water heater. Julia, are you here still? Do you want to ask your question? And congratulations on your certification or whatever they call licensure. Licensure? I think so. That's what it is. I think it's a licensure, not a certification. Julia, are you here still? KK, if you want to ask your question while we're waiting for her. Oh, you're good. You're here. Will you ask your question, please? You're very welcome, Marlene. Thank you for trusting me. KK, it's funny because your guides were like, so I'm like, what does she want a general reading for? And they're like, she just wants validation for a message we gave her earlier today. Did you schedule your test yet? Because I keep seeing gasoline, like getting gas in the car. Or somebody here who's listening putting gas in their car right now? Oh, you did? Okay. So I saw like getting gas in the making sure the tank is full. I don't know why this is important. So I don't know if on the test in Canada, because I took my driver's test at 16. So that was almost 30 years ago. 27 years ago. And I don't remember if we had to like check that the gas was full or whatever, but it just feels like something about the gas. Or knowing which side of the car the gas tank is on. I don't know. Even though you say it's a while from now, I feel like it's going to be cold when you take the test. Maybe unusually cold. And it's like, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Hi, Lightning Energy 555, y'all. I either need to get my contacts re-examined, my eyes re-examined, or I'm going to have to start wearing reading glasses soon. So it feels unusually cold, but I don't feel snow. It's like one of those like cold snaps where there's not snow. You can put in for a question. I'm waiting for Julia to ask. Oh, yours is a general from your guides fleet. Okay, Julia, let's go. Thank you for your patience. Sorry about that I didn't see it right away. Take a deep breath, Julia. um, so it's funny going into like the gas tank type thing. They were like, so I felt, this is why I said take a deep breath. So the first thing I heard was her love tank is on empty, like needing to fill up that love tank, like feeling um, not seen, not heard, not validated, not feeling like disconnected, unconnected from love. And then I also felt this like drop in my stomach, like my solar plexus chakra should be up here, but my awareness is just slightly lower than that. Um, do you have TMJ or you grind a little bit? I just feel really tight and like sore in my jaw. Can you validate that at all or any of that what I was giving you? And also, do you have something with your throat? Like a cold or a sore throat? This is weird because I did not have this before. Oh my goodness. Are you sick? Okay, wait. Are you sick? TMJ, like all of it's 100%? It's funny because I heard it's not the Rona. Um, uh, sorry, I'm just trying to move past all of the physical stuff because it sucks. It's like I'm like, okay, what? Like it's like I see. I don't know if you have tea, but it's like drinking tea. TMJ and grind your teeth. And then, are you sick currently as well? So here's what they're kind of talking about. It's like spending a lifetime sort of being a people pleaser and like looking outside of yourself for the validation and the love and sort of feeling like it never happened, it never came, like I'm not getting exactly what I need from in that area. And I've had relationships and I've been in love, but it's never been fulfilling. And it's sort of always felt like I was chasing it. Oh, okay, perfect. I mean, not perfect that you have a severe cold, but validated all of that for me. Okay. So this is the awakening and the opening to understanding that this is where you're at, the way they're making me feel energetically and spiritually. Your stomach may start giving you an issue because I just felt like, ugh, like whatever. Tested negative 6 times. Yeah. So I will tell you this: my husband, my daughter was sick. One of my oldest daughter had this cold thing that was not coronavirus, but kind of miserable, same kind of stuff, throat, like whatever, cold. And then hers turned into an ear infection. My husband had the same thing. He got it after me. His turned into, that's why I didn't do this show like a couple weeks ago. Um, he got a sinus infection. Get a neti pot. That's what I did because I was like, I am not having this turn into anything else because I could just feel like everything was kind of stationed. After like a week, I got a neti pot and rinsed out, and then I felt a million times better. Okay, great. So I feel like this is like the awakening time for you. This is like the finally really looking at like discovering about it's I feel like known about the spiritual end of looking at like law of attraction, all of that, but this is like discovering, understanding that our belief systems create our reality, the law of assumption, and sort of like coming into this place of doing a lot of like, you're in the beginning part of doing that shadow work that I talked about earlier, where you're looking at really those parts of you that have subconsciously created your own reality and like wanting to heal that and create new neural pathways, belief systems to create the life that you want, so that you're not feeling like I need something or somebody outside of me to validate me and fill this up, but understanding that anything that you choose outside of you is just a preference, but that the love and all of that really comes from within. And like really starting to look at that and like love yourself and do self-care and doing that big growth work to reprogram yourself. They're saying this like what you're going through in this moment is giving you the pause on life to really look at it and grow. And it does feel like there's big shifts coming. So I don't know what your astrological chart is, but it feels like whatever planetary is going on for you. So maybe you're a Pisces and you're entering into Jupiter, like the Jupiter enters Pisces this year. I'm not really 100% all of this, so just like take it with a grain of salt coming from me. But like Jupiter entering your sign is about expansion. So whatever it is, or so like me, Pisces is my moon sign, which is your emotional connections and how you express yourself emotionally. So like for me, it's about expansion on the emotional, personal level is my understanding of it. So it just feels like whatever it is that's going on for you, there's going to be big growth for you now into 2023 and lots of healing. So it's going to be like this ugly emotional roller coaster ride. And when you come out the other end, it's going to be like, whoof, glad I did that. That was amazing. It was like totally worth it. But it's going to kind of suck in those spaces. Like when you like get on top of the like roller coaster ride and you get on that really, really high first hill and you're over because you're in the front of the car and you're like, because you were like going to be a daredevil and you're like, holy F, what did I do? Why did I choose this car? Like sometimes it's good to hang into the back and you get pulled and you're like, not really sure what's coming, but you know it's there. But you've chosen the front car, the hanging over the edge car. And that's okay too, because you will end up fine and safe. And at the end of the same ride, the same person, like the same as the person in the back car. You're just doing it with your eyes open and your heart open and really looking at it. And I keep feeling by like November of 2023, like October, November, they're highlighting like that's really big growth at that point. That's where it's really sort of like seeing the big change and the big growth. And they said, hang on though, because it's a bumpy ride. Like and it's not so much like you can't handle it, but just understand that it's going to be a lot of emotional ups and downs during this period. And you're going to come up with a lot of anger because it feels like that's a new emotion to really feel, honor, and hold space for. And like know that it's okay for you to be angry and it's okay for you to be angry at the belief systems that were instilled in you. And this feels a lot like mom. And not to blame mothers all the time because dads do their own stuff too. It's like, so it feels like mom was more of a direct like impact, but dad kind of showed up with his own crap too of like not honoring your own emotions and feelings, sort of like not valuing them. So there's like, it's all this kind of stuff intertwined, but it's like, it's okay for you to finally be angry about that. And it doesn't mean that you hate them as people or you think they're horrible people. You're going to go through this, but it's just like, you're going to have a period of anger. And that's okay to honor that, right? You will see in a lot of the communities, like especially like manifesting, there's a lot of people are like, you got to be positive. And it's like, no, like when you're manifesting and when you're going through stuff, sometimes it sucks like what you're going through to get rid of stuff. And it's okay to be like, this sucks. And I also know that I'm strong enough to get through this and I can get through this and that there is light on the other side of that. Like it's okay to reassure yourself of that and sit in that this sucks and I'm kind of angry about that I went through that. It doesn't mean you have to wallow in it and get stuck in it, but it's okay to honor it too. Does that resonate? I hope so. I think I'm going to leave you with that. I hope that was helpful. I'm glad you validated the cold thing, because sometimes I can't get beyond those feelings until somebody validates that for me. So I'm like, I don't know why, but it's like, as soon as I know it's for you, I'm like, good, I can let go of it energetically. I don't have to keep holding on to it, but they like make me hold on to it to stay with it until someone says, like, it's just like any of the other stuff that comes up, the emotional stuff, or like when they're talking about other people. And I'm like, it's just what I'm seeing. I can't, like, they're standing strong with it. They're not going to let me let go of this until like we get like I will tell you and explain it 18 different ways. So I hope that's helpful. And I hope you feel better. It's going to be kind of a dragger outer, by the way. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you, everybody, for trusting me and supporting my small business. If you ever want a private reading, you can find my website below. It's just myspiritualfriend.com. /readings is where you can find a reading. I also will start another psychic development circle. Probably this one that I'm doing right now ends February 22nd. Supposedly there's some big energies happening that day. And so it'll start in March. I don't know when. I got to look at all the dates and everything. Find me over on TikTok, all of that good stuff. Thank you again. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, all of that good stuff. And I will see you next Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I'm here doing lives every Sunday. And I haven't decided if I'm going to go back to doing manifesting chats here, or just kind of keep little small spiritually chats over on TikTok. I will see you later. Have a good one. Oh, you're having So take your hand and cup it. So make sure you've got a humidifier in your house. If it's really bad, you feel wheezy or anything, make sure you go to the doctor to get an inhaler. You might need a steroid or like albuterol to help open you up. You can cup your hand over your chest and kind of help loosen up. You can do that. You can do it on your sides here. It's called like CPT, or you can take your, if you have a Theragun, one of those guns that they use on muscles or whatever, you can kind of do it on your chest and like on your back and stuff to kind of help loosen everything up. Humidifier, drink lots of water. You're drinking lots of tea, so that's good. Get lots and lots of sleep. But like, if you really feel like you're having a like wheezing or any of that stuff, it might be good to just go get your lungs listened to make sure it hasn't developed into pneumonia. That's the former nurse in me that's reminding you to get yourself checked out. And don't ignore that. That was not psychic, and I am not a doctor, but just ideas. Okay, have a good one.